In this presentation, we will learn how to create a complete single linked list. So let's get started. Here, I would like to tell you that this is the list we want to create. Basically, list must consist of 3 nodes. Apart from this, the data that I given here over here as an example is 45, 98 and 3. And the link part of the first node should contain the address of the second node. And the link part of the second node should contain the address of the third node. Apart from this, the third link part should contain null. There must be a head pointer which should point to the first node of the list. So this is a single linked list which we want to create. Now my question is how to create a node of the list. That is the first question. We already know how to create a node of the list. Isn't that so? We need to create a structure, something like this struct node. It should consist of a data as well as the link part and the data and the link part. This is the way we'll create a node of the list. This is what we want learned in the previous lecture. We know that how to create a node of the list. Now we want to create 3 such nodes and we want to link them together. This is our task. For this purpose of we have done over here, in the main function, you have to create a memlog function to allocate memory for this location. Obviously, you need to allocate memory for the node. It is not sufficient to create such a node. We need to allocate memory for the node, and this is what I have to pass a parameter size of struct node. And you can see over here that I haven't done any type of caching. As I told you all, this is not necessary. Although it is a great practice, but it's not necessary. Now here is the head pointer which is pointing to the first node of the pack. It is clear that fact after allocating the memory, the address which is returned by the malloc will be address of the node, that is 1000. This address will get sorted with this pointer, and head pointer can access data well as the link part of this node. And that is what is done accessing the data. And there I will be trying to assign this value 45 to it. And here the link part I am trying to assign null. Initially it contains and later on will get updated. Obviously, we want to create the second node. We again have to call this malloc function, and then after we have to create doing. I am putting the address written by the malloc into the head pointer. Now, I had the pointer to the second node of obviously with help of the head point, I am trying to assign 98 data and null to the link part. But let me tell you, there is some problem with this code. You can easily identify the problem as well. Basically, you can see that head pointer is pointing to the second. Isn't that so? It's now pointing to the second node. Now, there is no way to access the first node of the list. We have lost a reference of the first node. Previously, head was pointing to the first node, now it is pointing to the second node. Now, there is no way to access the first node at the list. Or there is no way to access this node at all, right? Because the only way to access this node is through this pointer. Now it's pointed to the second node. So what is the solution? Here we will create another pointer which will point to the second. Challenge this current instead of head. And then now this current pointer is pointing to the second node of the list. Head pointer still pointing to the first node. Now this is fine because we haven't lost the reference of the first node at all. Head is still pointing to the first node, which is pointing to the second node. So everything is fine up to this point. Now the next step is to update the link part of the first node, that is can point to the second node. So here this is a way we update the link part of the first node. Link part of the first node now contains the address 2000. Because here I am initialing this with the current contains the address 2000. That is why head equal to the current gives this address to 2000. Means the link part now contains the address 2000, which means that now the first node is connected to the second node. Isn't that simple? Now this part of the lecture, creating a single linked list. Thank you.